This is Gerald Johan Vawas. In this series of videos, I provided already some information about different letters that have a specific position, and they have numerical order in 1 to 3 kinds of positions in multiple variations. But some sounds are not in a specific place at this numerical order, and some of these sounds they even have digraphs, if I pronounce it well in English, or letter combinations to express the separate sounds that are different from the others. Actually, there are of course much more sounds than there are positions in time and space, as I show them. And how shall we deal with them? How shall we interpret them in regard to positions in time and space? We will talk about and do a small investigation on the separate sound of ch, if I pronounce it well. So, okay. You know, this sound is to be found in words like cheese, chess, much, choice, cherry, that kind of words. And I will investigate most of them. In a way, the ch is a combination. You hear a combination of the letter T and ch. Yeah, you don't really hear the letter H, but it's definitely involved. It's already in the letters how it is written. And you also hear, of course, the letter S, and what will be present at times will be, of course, the letter C, but the letter C is not something that we hear. I leave it out for now, but the C is the kind of choices that you make from the trying to find a distinction in what you see. We will try to make a distinction of objects, of an objective. We'll try to find an objective in a variety of things that we see. That's what the C comes in. But the C can be used as k, or they can be used as s. And here it's used as s. So here these 3 letters I think would be dominant, the T, the H and the S. So this will be a mixture of it. That's the easy thing. You already know this will be a mixture of these sounds that you hear. That's the trigger that you have to investigate, to interpret the separate sound that it is, or separate entity of sound, let's say that it is. It is a double sound, of course, as well, ch. But it is presented as one orientation, and in a way it's a multiple vision, so it's framed somewhat, but in a way you also have the impression it's about more things. There are more things that have this. Of course, I chose some words with where there is already this S in a double form: cheese, chess, much, choice. So I have no other choice than to find a multiplication of order, and I will have a kind of pattern that I will think to realize beforehand, that this will be more or less this way of pinpointing out a frame in a variety of things that I will give an order to. That's something I will already predict beforehand. So thinking of cheese and chess, I seem already to distinct some kind of pattern. This pattern is like, okay, I can frame certain positions, and these positions somewhat hang together. And when I investigate cheese, I know that there is an occupied space somewhere which will have a mixture of features and also evolving features there will be some resistance inside in its material and some softness as well. So it is this kind of balance between these two things that you have. So the inside sense, the outside sense, it is about this sensing. We try to sense that area with our focus. And the of course, will be about that there is a timing involved, and in these evolutions that we sense this, and in all its variations, it's all on a timing. So it's also developing these kind of variations that I sense there over time. The chess is on the chessboard. There the ch, I notice, is used first as T, the placement, mixed with S, the kind of effect that I want to produce, and follow its effect with a spatial interaction of or H against A, or movement in time. So I start with T, the position. I have this on a frame H. That's what that the H always is about. It's about a frame in which certain activity is having an action and interaction from within. So this is already the T that I recognize. I recognize the H. I recognize the S, which also has comes from outside, and it produces its effect from inside. I have the or the timings or time frames, and it ends with different S's, and it's also the different movements and effects that goes into detail onto the board. That fits somewhat with the letters. Choice, I have, what do I recognize in choice? There is a larger frame, and then a focus, O, which I make a choice with E, where I make my own choice, or that I take some of the frames apart. I will take some of the frames apart. So what will happen here in choice? So the chi consists, apparently, as C, a selection, which is C about. It's about trying to find focus in a selection. That's what C is. It also happens, just like with the other words, with a placement. The placement, I take some placements, I take some places out, a choice of places in these smaller frames, which are held together and seen from a large frame. With my O, I take a separate focus in E with an idea that uses the focus of its final effect, as for some selection that I could do with it at some point with a good idea to be taken further in time. That's more or less a description of choice with the letters and with the letter significance as how they could be interpreted. I don't say it's already that this is the final and the only way that you can understand it, but it helps to understand what's going on. With much, I have the M, I will present it separately. The M is first a materialization that is enlarging. The U of the mu here is taking some of the changes that are happening inside and focuses on them. With much again, I do that also again with a ch at the end. What will I do again? I will have again separate focuses on places with variations there. So the much on its own doesn't say much that it is about very much, but it is a pattern here that is there again in the ch that can be used as a tool to say, yeah, but how much is this growing? How much is it, and what kind of variations are there again? So what are the varying values there? And that's again the same thing that is happening there. So you have a selection with a placement T, and you have these in a frame or H with variations or S. That's the kind of combination you have each time. So I have it described. It's the counting positions in T with a common cooperative sense in H with values that can vary, that you can have and can show, that can be shown in the S. S always coming from outside, going inside, and showing the variations that are possible at that point. So what is my conclusion in my temporal conclusion then? I had, and in my temporal investigation, I noticed that the ch truly has the ability that you can split it up into the sounds that you hear and the sounds that you can read there, and then you thoroughly, after a while, understand what's going on there. The C, for me, it wasn't always so dominant, but the C is always about these choices that you make. You make the choices between the variety that you see, and you try to find what works and what you can use. So, and that's what you already do with the C. With the T, you pick out the not just the position, but here, and that's a bit different as usual with T, it are multiple position in not just one framework, but with individual pickouts that have and show some logic together. The S at the end is then most of the time in all of these words, let's say, used to estimate what kind of effect does it have, what kind of variations does it have. There is some freedom to choose the variations because of the C, but there are variations of possibilities with it, and that's what you sense, and that's what you describe, and that's how I think so far for the little words that I already did, the kind of features that I described were in all these words recognizable to some degree or another. Okay, this was just another contribution to what was not written down in these books, and gave a first step to add an extra idea that could be used for writing down at some stage. Okay, thanks again for watching. Just was Gerald Jovavas, YouTube channel, books, old videos can be found in at the website that is linked here. Thanks again. Bye.